Hi, it is Sue from Aging Joyfully. It is Wednesday, October 22nd. The days are flying by. Steve is still busy working, so I thought I'd make this video by myself again. I've been watching a lot of videos, and it seems like the new measurement of wealth is if you can afford to go to the dentist or a doctor or eat 3 meals a day, you are considered wealthy. Who knew? Who knew? Is that the saddest thing you've ever heard in your entire life? For me, it is. I did go recently in the last year to get 5 crowns done on my teeth. Now, could we afford it? Well, for the past decade, Steve and I have been saving money in his HSA account for our retirement. We thought the money we put away was going to be spent on our health care and retirement. That money is almost gone. So we used our HSA money. Does that mean that we are wealthy? One day, the money will be gone, and we won't be able to afford crowns and dental work. With his new job, he was lucky enough to get an FSA. Now, with the HSA, if you get Medicare Part A, which is free, you are no longer eligible to put money in an HSA. I honestly don't know who makes these crazy rules, but at 65, we decided for Steve to get the free Part A Medicare, so he was no longer eligible to contribute to an HSA, even though I still have needs, and he has certainly lots of medical needs too. I don't understand that rhyme or reason or logic at all. Now with the FSA, the problems with the FSA are, I believe, I'm not positive, but I think maybe the amount you could put in each year is lower. You could put in $3,300 in a year, but you can only carry forward approximately $640 or $660, and then the rest is lost if you don't use it. I think in the old days when we originally had an FSA, you couldn't carry forward any money, but now they did allow you $600 and something to carry forward. So he was not eligible till, I think, October. So he didn't make enough money to put $3,300 in for this year, and we should not hopefully have $3,300 of expenses in 3 months. But who knows? You never know what's going to happen, right? So we put in the most that we could afford and that we thought we might use. We put in $1,400, which is a lot of money because that had to be taken out. So that's, oh my gosh, almost more than $100 a week taken out. But I have to get glasses and contacts, and those have always been outrageous. I think contacts for a year might be $600 and glasses are at least $300, so that's $900. If we put $1,400 in and we want to carry forward $600 or whatever, that means we have to use $750 or so. Well, right there, my glasses and contacts will eat that up. But then we bought some other things. I mean, I haven't gotten them yet because we just got eligible for the HSA. But we got some over the counter items that we wanted to stock up on, and we could easily spend that money. Our masks for our CPAP machines are, gosh, $150 to $200 each. Then there's a hose, filters, all kinds of things. So now going back to the measurement of wealth, if you can afford to go to the dentist. So I don't know, would you say I'm wealthy because we used our HSA money to go to the dentist? I don't know if we had the money. If we did not have that money, if I would have gone. I told Steve, well, since my crown fell out after a year, I said I regretted doing them. And he said, no, you have to get cracks fixed because bacteria gets in and that could lead to death. I watched another YouTuber, Susan Little Poet, and she talked about how if you don't get bacteria out of your mouth, that leads to pneumonia. And Diane Keaton did just die of pneumonia, which I don't know if it's related to bacteria, but there are so many health issues with your mouth that it's just amazing that Medicare doesn't cover dental expenses because your mouth controls a lot of your health. It's very concerning if you don't take care of your teeth. So again, am I wealthy? Well, imagine this. say it was Christmas and everybody took a few days off or a week, and you go back after the new year and you're talking around the water cooler. This is the old days before everybody's working remotely from home. You go and everybody would go in and get their coffee and be talking about what happened and say, "Hey Bob, what'd you do over the break?" "Well, I got my prostate exam that I've been putting off for years, you know. Finally got that Christmas bonus, so I thought I'd go ahead and do it." "Oh yeah, Jane, what'd you do?" "Well, I got that crown I've been needing for a few years, you know. Finally, yeah, that Christmas bonus came in handy." "Hey, Haley, what'd you do?" "I got that mammogram that I had been putting off for 5 years, because we all know what mammograms cost. Even though they're supposed to be covered by our physical, our yearly checkup, they often find some way to not cover them." "Hey, what'd you do, Spencer?" "Well, I went and had that blood work that I've been putting off." "Hey, Tom, did you do anything?" "No, I'm not as wealthy as all of you guys. I couldn't afford to do anything. I just stayed at home and watched Netflix." I mean, can you imagine? That's the talk at the water cooler. Who was able to go to the doctor or the dentist? You are considered the wealthy ones today? After paying rent or your mortgage, your daycare, your insurance premiums, nobody has any money left. I just think back and think, what a sad, sad world. Now, was it always like this, or has it gotten so much worse lately? Of course, it is exponentially worse, but I do know growing up in my family of 8 kids, my father had health insurance through his job. But back then, we didn't have PPOs, HMOs. You paid a doctor visit. I have no idea what the deductible was. I just know that it was unaffordable to go to the doctor. We didn't go unless we were dying. And out of the 8, I was always the sickest child. I had tremendous guilt when I had to go to the doctor, as I often got strep throat and would run a fever of 104. And my mother would call the doctor and say, "I need a throat culture," and they'd say she has to see a doctor, and she says, "I know it's strep throat again." And they'd say she has to see a doctor. "I don't want to pay for the doctor visit, I just want the throat culture." They wouldn't let her do that. She had to see the doctor. I had to see the doctor, who just said, "Yeah, let's go do a throat culture," and it was strep throat. I don't know, I have a small mouth or whatever that also gave me, or I have TMJ, and I have sleep apnea, which is all related to my mouth. Today, I've taken that idea forward, and I rarely go to the doctor. When I fell a couple weeks ago, I didn't go to the doctor because I knew they'd probably want to scan my head. And I had gone to the doctor, to the emergency room, a year and a half ago, and that ER visit was $8,000. They took the maximum deductible and more. I was there 4 hours, and I swore I would never go to the doctor again unless I was almost dead. Well, with this fall, I felt like I was almost dead. I fell flat on my face right there. I still have a little bit of a bruise. And I said, no, not going to go. Well, then my hip did start hurting just recently after the fall. Falls are very serious, and you don't know what it affected till later. I believe my hip pain is probably from this fall. I could barely walk for 2 days. What kind of world do we live in? What kind of country do we live in when we have to choose between eating, paying your mortgage, and going to the doctor? I heard a story of a woman who said she's pregnant and she moved. She wouldn't say where she moved. She said within North America, either Canada or Mexico. She moved to have her baby because it's so much cheaper. All the comments said they thought she moved to Canada. She said she's originally from that country but hasn't lived there in years. But they moved there. Her husband is American, so the baby will be American through the husband. But she said she can't afford to have her baby here in the United States. So she moved. Her in-laws were so upset. You know what it costs to have a baby today? My son and daughter-in-law, my grandson's 5 years old, I think it was $8,000, which they had to make payments the whole pregnancy. And she did end up having a C-section, but I don't know if that $8,000 included that, because they calculated the whole pregnancy what she'd have to pay, and it was pretty large payments. If the baby has any issues, it could be 100,000, 200,000, it could be $1 million. Issues with newborns are serious. I always read about Georgia. It's one of the worst states for healthcare for young and elderly, for pregnant women. We have one of the highest maternal mortality rates. And I just read that people on Medicare, well, we're number 42 in Medicare health in the whole United States. That's saying don't live in Georgia. It's not safe. That's scary. That's very, very scary. I don't know what to say. I'm just confused, and I'm saddened. I'm very saddened that this is the position that we are in. I don't know if, I know they do life expectancies by states, and I think typically it's the northeastern states. They have the longest ones, like Vermont, Massachusetts, Maine. The states that have higher education, higher income, better health insurance. We just cross our fingers and hope that we can live a good age in Georgia. But hey, I don't want to be too down, right? It was Diwali Monday. I had no idea until the fireworks just kept going off. I did not know why. Fireworks were going off in October, and of course the dogs were crazy. Sierra just hides, and Sammy was so upset. I spent forever calming her. And then I just happened to look out the front window and saw them right in front of our house. I couldn't believe it. So I recorded this little clip for you, and Sammy's reaction to it. They must have gone off 2 or 3 hours. We actually had to Google the law, and it said they have until midnight on a school work night. Oh my goodness. But here they are, and next time hopefully we'll be more upbeat, but we're talking about issues in aging, and sometimes it can get a little challenging to age joyfully. I'm Sue, and hopefully Steve will be back, but he loves this channel, and actually it was his idea to start this channel, but he's getting older, and his new job is physical. He's been very, very tired, and he's working for me. He is working to give me health insurance. What a husband. I looked for 10 years for a job with health insurance and couldn't find one. He was fortunate enough to get a job with health insurance, but it is physical, does not pay very much. The health insurance benefit is about equal to his pay. So I am so grateful to have a wonderful husband who is working for me, but he is tired, so I'm probably making most of these videos alone. But one day he will be back with us. And until I see you again, thanks for joining me, and hopefully Steve.
so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no.